Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it.
Hey team, welcome back. It's nice to be back to 100% health, which is nice after just having the flu. And we're back today with the list that I did a deck take with. You can find that on YouTube with Harry1232 on Abzan Maverick. This is his build that he will most likely be taking into Eternal Weekend and has had a lot of success with recently. One of the newer cards that I haven't had time to play around with just yet is Legolas's Quick Reflexes, which acts as protection spell, removal spell, utility spell, and they get to untap things like Knight or Fiend or Mum, which is pretty crazy. Pretty insane card at split seconds, so pretty interested to see how this plays out. I really like this deck. I really like how it's built. The sideboard's really cool with a lot of either free or 1 mana non-creature spells to make sure you're winning that early game, and then a pretty nice package of creatures to have for different matchups. Hushbringer, probably one of the newer ones that players are playing around with as a way to stop Initiative or Thassa's Oracle or Death and Taxes. So yeah, pretty keen to see how this goes, and yeah, hopefully it does alright. We're playing a Legacy League, play points, nice. League match, very cool. Gameplay, nice. Still got it. Very cool. I know that Mark is streaming at the same time as well, so hopefully I'm not, or at least we're not cannibalizing viewership too much, but always nice to see Mark live. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Mark Strassman, Maverick streamer, Maverick aficionado, Maverick master, usually streams at pretty frequent times during the week at twitch.tv/strassdaddy. So definitely check him out. Yeah, Maverick, having a few showings at Eternal Weekend. I think they had 11 Maverick decks, which is good. Hey, Gravid. Thank you very much. Okay, so here we have a pretty interesting hand where we don't actually have a land drop, but we do have once, and we do have multiple ways to accelerate. It's a very low to the ground hand, and I think if this had one more land, I'd be happy to keep it, but it's actually pretty interesting. I'll put this one in the Discord as would you keep? Because I'm actually not too sure. I would like to have an extra land in this hand, even on the draw. Because worst case is the once doesn't make it through. Something like a land into days on the ones. I'm pretty happy just to try to find a hand with at least 2 lands. Much better. Double Wasteland, Verdant, Collector Ouphe once. It's probably the Ouphe here that I want to drop, as I'm not too sure what I'm up against, and Ouphe can just be a vanilla creature against a lot of matchups. I could drop a Wasteland, but I don't mind having like 3 lands plus a Wasteland as kind of a spell, so I think we'll keep this and bottom the Ouphe. Alright. Cavern. Merfolk. Reef Shaman. Target land becomes the basic land of your choice until end of turn. This is a great way to turn on Island Walk against decks without access to islands. I think here I'm pretty happy just to Wasteland my opponent. Take them off the cavern. This obviously isn't a threat at the moment, being a 0/2. This also gives us time to dig a little bit deeper with ones to know what we want to get. Okay, Rishadan Dockhand. This is pretty much a Rishadan port on a creature, which is pretty interesting. I'm not too sure if I want to play the fetch and then shuffle, or if I want to once and then shuffle. I think in this matchup, I'm pretty happy to once first and then just shuffle. Okay, well, all lands on top, so this is actually a really good like, we would have fetched anyway, but can you imagine if we didn't have the once here and didn't have a fetch and maybe played like the Karakas into Mum? This is all we're getting. So here, we do have an extra Wasteland already. I feel like I'm pretty happy just to grab the Savannah here and play the Mum. But I do need to also make considerations for fetch target, because Harry does play the full 6, full 8, but we only have 6 hits. If I grab the Wasteland, they obviously know about it. It could just be the Windswept Heath, but honestly, I don't really want to put any of this back into the deck after a shuffle. So there is reason to either play the Karakas into Mum, or just grab the Savannah into Mum, and then there's no way we're drawing the other 4 cards. I don't mind Savannah into Mum, because then it also holds up Legolas's quick reflexes, and also Wasteland potentially, so we will go for Savannah here. Play the Savannah, as it's a known entity, and then play Mum. Okay. Merfolk on and off days. With the Rishadan Dockhand, I would potentially assume that's something that could be happening. Okay. This is fine. We now have a Mum online. I could Wasteland the Wasteland. My only thought here is True Name is a bit of an issue this early on. We don't have a great answer to it, so I think I'm happy to Wasteland the Wasteland here and pass back. Also, really interesting for Merfolk to have 3 creatures in play, but no real threats at this moment. Doesn't usually happen with a Merfolk matchup. Alright, there's a master. I assume we see just an attack with... Oh, not everything. Interesting. So go to block. Number 4 damage. And get pro blue. This is fine. Oh, Bowmaster. Okay. Bowmaster with Legolas's quick reflexes at instant speed is really nice. So I think here we're just going to go fetch land for Scrubland, which gives us access to black, but also access to another Mum. Obviously now, with Island Walk potentially through the Master of the Pearl, they could just start attacking through quite aggressively. Okay. One card left in their hand. I would potentially be looking to use 1 Reef here, and then attacking for 5. Pretty much a 4-turn clock. Interesting. Okay. Happy to block 1. And then again, give pro blue. Upkeep, they'll tap down the Scrubland, that's fine. Noble, okay. Well, here we get to go for Bayou to have 2 black sources, and then also play the Noble Hierarch. This is quite nice as well, because with Exalted, if we attack with something like a Bowmaster, we can then Legolas post-combat to deal 2 to potentially the Master here. But double Mum online now is really nice. Not as relevant with Island Walk, but... So we obviously can't block here. But now we have a really nice play of Bowmaster and Legolas's quick reflexes. Just trying to think how we want to do this. I think I'm happy just to do it in their turn, potentially. See if they attack. And then block in a way that allows us to potentially take out another creature. Okay. Tap down a Mum. They're down to 0 cards, so I'm actually happy with this. I could get pro blue, but that doesn't really do a whole lot, so I might as well just allow this. They have 1 card. Float a black here. Alright. Play Bowmaster. Ping the Master. And then we can actually allow them to attack as well. Ooh. So here we have to tap the Mum actually to use Legolas's ability. So whenever this creature becomes tapped, it deals damage equal to its power. Okay, this is all fine. I can tap the Hierarch as well. So I think here what we want to do is pro black on the Orc. Sorry, pro blue. And then untap Mum. Pro blue on the Orc. Trigger, hit the Master. Now this is cool. So this takes out the Master of the Pearl Trident. And now we get to give pro blue to the Orc, and now we also get to take out a creature here. So let's probably double block to take it off the board, and then they're only attacking for 1 here. Nice. I think if anything, as chat said, I could have used the Hierarch for mana instead of taking the damage. Hopefully that doesn't add up. Once. Okay. I'm happy to cast the once here off these. Another Wasteland wouldn't be too bad here. Peatland, Hierarch, Knight. Okay, let's go with Knight. Play a land. Play the Knight. I'm also happy to attack here with the Orc. Now we have Wasteland online as well to keep my opponent potentially off 3 mana and True Name. Probably happy just to draw a card here. Let's have a quick think. Yeah. This is fine. If that's an island, that's all good. Sure. Okay. Swords is obviously really nice here. Ooh, another orc. Okay. I think in that case, we actually attack with these two. Actually, we can't. Yeah. I think we just attack with the knight for two turns with pro blue. It's quite hard for them to stop. And now with 3 mana, we also have up Swords and Bowmaster. So this is fine, because in upkeep we can take this out. Do I want to do it now? Maybe not, maybe I want to wait. See if they attack. Okay. Thankfully it didn't matter, because they most likely can't deal lethal this turn. Alright, Merfolk. I like the Plague Engineer. Carpets are interesting. Probably not the matchup where I actually want Carpet. They're probably playing Vile, so I don't mind the Collector Ouphe. It's probably just a 1-for-1 trade. Having the Plague Engineer as a Grist target is really nice. Could potentially just be the Endurance. It's a good flash creature, but otherwise, I think in this case I'm pretty happy just to drop the Endurance for the Plague Engineer and call it a day. Hushbring is interesting, but I think Orc's just a little bit better. A double sword hand with 2 great threats is really nice. So I'm pretty happy to keep this. Okay. Nice. Playing the fetch land to play around Wasteland somewhat. I think if my opponent here plays a land into Lord, I'm pretty happy just to deal with the Lord. Now this card is very interesting. It's a 2 mana enchantment, a little bit like Bitter Blossom. Whenever 1 or more non-token Merfolk you control become tapped, create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with hexproof. Unfortunately not great against Plague Engineer, and I think just to keep a little bit of... This is actually an interesting spot. Do I want to actually use a swords on the dock hand so they don't get a 1/1 token, or do I keep the swords for lords that actually allow the 1/1s to live through Plague Engineer? That's pretty interesting. They're on 4 cards. I think just because of my curve, I want to swords this turn, untap, play Fiend Artisan, untap, play Plague Engineer. I'm happy to actually swords here. Just off a Savannah, I think is fine, because we have a black source and Peatland. Okay. I'm going to hold the Peatland here. We're just going to go ahead with a Artisan. They could be playing Dismember, but as a 1/1, I don't think there's too many things, unless they're playing Gutshot, that I really care about. Ooh, okay. Well, now my opponent really hopes that we... They have 3 cards. Okay, so here's an interesting line as well. We could just Wasteland here and also play the Noble. One thing Endurance does allow this list to do is get back a Plague Engineer from the graveyard, put it back in the deck, and then Fiend for it. We're not on much of a clock here. I wouldn't mind Wasteland Ottawara. Like, imagine like land into another true name. That'd be pretty great for us. That's fine. I'm actually not going to float mana here just because it does cost a life. Ooh, Dismember. Okay, that's fine. That's not killing a Plague Engineer, which is great. Alright. The question is, how patient do I want to be on this Plague Engineer? I think at this stage, I'm happy to see if it comes down. Nice. That's pretty huge. This is fine. Our land is perfect because it does allow us to 2-spell here. I'm not going to worry about days either. Just going to get everything online. I'm not in a position where I really have to swords, which is great. If they get another Lord online, we can just chump with the token and then swords next turn. Really tough spot for them. The Mum is also really nice here with the Plague Engineer, just keeping anything off the table. Yeah. Alright. Really interesting build of Merfolk, looking to take advantage of that enchantment. Obviously with a lot of your 1-power creature or 1 CMC creatures tapping and getting a token off those, it's pretty sweet. A few Lord effects, of course, at least 8. Potentially something like Mirror Regery as well. Because I think Mirror Regery is tap untap. What is... So Mirror Regery says, whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you may tap or untap target permanent. Interesting. So you could actually try to keep tapping down your hexproof creatures. No, it's a non-token. Okay. But still, would be kind of cool. Yorion. I'm pretty okay with this hand against a Yorion deck. We don't have Swords to Plowshares in our opener, but having both Fiend Artisans and Bowmaster with once potentially is really nice. I think if we can go Bayou once into a Noble effect, I'd be very happy. Opponent's got 5 cards as well, so potentially even grabbing a Wasteland off the once here wouldn't be too bad. Wasteland for them. No Vial. Okay. I'm going to assume they're going to be DMT. I actually really like Wasteland and Wasteland here because it gives us more time for once. It keeps them off turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic into Kaldra, which is a real big issue here. This makes me think if they are on DNT, they have Karakas in hand and they wanted to hold the white source for as long as possible while also making land drops. Oh, Volk. Did not expect that. Green Suns, okay. So I could once to play around days here. Do I really care about that? Probably not, because then we're just going land into Dryad Arbor anyway. Okay. I think in this spot I really like the extra land. And they did already play one Wasteland. I am happy for them to Wasteland me in this spot. So let's go for... I actually like getting Bayou now, because if we top deck into Wasteland, we can Orcish Bowmaster and Wasteland on the same turn. There was a thought of holding it for this Windswept Heath, but then we can't, of course, double spell like that. Okay. Wow, just a pass back. In this spot, I'm pretty happy just to pass back with Bowmaster, and probably just upkeep Bowmaster then. If they want to brainstorm and upkeep, that's more than fine. They'll then draw a card that they didn't have before. Now we're in a great spot. Potentially getting Grist down next turn around days. Wasteland us is fine. I kind of like Fiend here. Off Scrubland. I don't think at 2 mana there's anything to play around too much here. Brace and Burrow bounce isn't too bad. I assume they're not a questing druid deck. Deluge for 1. Okay. Not too bad either. We do just have Grist here tick up. That also makes these Fiends really, really good, because now they're going to be at least 4/4s. Which is great if there's some sort of bolt deck. Potentially some sort of like Yorion Syfro pile deck. Ponder chose to not shuffle. That's a white source. Leyline binding. Okay. I really like finding a land here. So let's attack first, and then try to find a land into Fiend Artisan, just to keep mana flowing. Ooh, Cradle does it, which is nice. And I think here I'm happy to play the Cradle and get a Fiend online. Swords. Okay. So Murktide. Okay, that's fine. They have one card left. We have Swords and Fiend this turn. Can also take them off white here, which is nice. Okay. I feel like we're in a really nice spot. Next turn, potentially turn the insect into Orcish Bowmaster. Then potentially try to get a Ramanap Excavator online. We have access to 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, which sadly isn't. Put Yorion into hand. Okay, that's fair. Wasteland. Okay. Here I think we just want to go for Renegade Rallier. 2, 3, 4, 5, which is enough. Yeah, and then we get back Wasteland as well. So what if we attack first? We could take them off double blue. I think that is where I want to be at. They have 2 cards. Stopping them from cantripping is really nice. So let's go Wasteland on the Trop. And then go 2, 3, 4. Sacrifice the insect, sorry. Get Renegade Rallier, trigger. Oh, we actually have access to a few things. I think Wasteland here is where I want to be. Like Bowmaster or another Fiend is very good as well, but I think just like double Wasteland is... Yeah. Take them off blue. They have no blue, they have no white. Opponent having a good think. Hey Jitterin. Yeah, likely a Beans deck, especially with the Leyline Binding and the Yorion. Makes sense. What do we want to do from here? That's a good question. With Fiend. We definitely want to attack them to 15 with Renegade Rallier and then probably trade it in for a Bowmaster. But I do like the thought of having the extra threat. Hey Dark Poet Bill, very cool to see you. Doing well. Had a pretty bad flu for the past few weeks, but thankfully it's all good and dusted now. It's something going around locally. A lot of friends have had it. But yeah, good to be back. Good to be back streaming as well. It's always fun. Oh. I just found an old wallet and it had cash in it, and I did not even know that I had cash these days. But that's pretty cool. Nice. Couple of pineapples. That's hilarious. Nice. That's cool. Opponent has lost connection to the game, so they're obviously having some connectivity issues. This matchup is pretty challenging, keeping up with the value they can get. Things like Leyline Binding are quite hard to interact with outside of, say, Outland Liberator or Force of Vigor. Not traditionally strong cards in this sort of matchup. Beans as well, just with the built-in card draw, is very tough. If you trade your Outland Liberator with a Bean, you're already down a card. And if you allow it to stay on the field, you're most likely going to be down many a cards. So you really have to manage it in a way that I think you try to take out something like a Leyline Binding at the same time as a Bean. Obviously, the best way to take out a Bean is a flipped Outland Liberator that just triggers and removes it. You don't really want to be spending a card to remove it, but that can sometimes just happen. Deluge in the main deck as well, I wasn't expecting. Very strong card, especially if you want to control the early game. But yeah, Grist, not as good, especially against a deck with Toxic Deluge. A very easy card to answer in Leyline Binding. Although you do get a bunch of 1/1s, which is kind of nice. I could see like black potentially. I assume they might be on like a Assassin's Trophy. Probably Bowmaster themselves. So there is some thought of what to take them off, but I do like taking them off blue. Hey Jerry, too kind. Hope you're doing well. I had a hot coffee this morning. It was really nice. Nice to be back on milk. But yeah, hope you're doing well, buddy. Renegade Rallier I really like as well. Ramanap is hard to put down, especially with the Wasteland lock, which isn't too much of a deal these days. I would say against lands, I probably like it. Against depths decks, I do like it, but the value that Renegade Rallier gives you in its flexibility of getting back something like a Fiend Artisan or Orcish Bowmaster, or of course Wasteland if you just want Wasteland, there's a lot of a lot of value in the flexibility it gives you, especially the turn it comes down. Ramanap, typically a 4-drop because you want to play it with 3 mana and play your 4th mana or Wasteland from the bin. So Renegade I think is a pretty sweet addition, especially with Fiend Artisan turning on Revolt. Getting rid of a Bowmaster token to then go and get Renegade Rallier, or sorry, getting rid of a Bowmaster to get Rallier, to get back Bowmaster, to then ping something. Insane value. Insane value. Hey Panda, too kind, thank you very much. 33 months is pretty insane, so hope you're doing well. Hope the coast is not too overcast today. It's pretty overcast here in Brisbane. Just kind of peak streaming weather, which is nice. I don't think my opponent's going to be coming back. I'm going to get a quick water and come back to this. I'll be back in a second. There we go. Apologies. So opponent obviously connectivity issues. I think we had that game 1, but I think game 2 and most likely game 3 would have been pretty grindy, which I don't mind, but it can be, yeah, it can be a tough one, especially like Leyline Binding drawing a card as well, at least one potentially, is, yeah, a tough time. I feel like there's a way that you can remove a Leyline Binding that it doesn't actually exile anything. I feel like when it comes into play, the trigger goes on the stack, and I feel like if you remove it, it either does like an O-ring effect where it moves it altogether, or it just doesn't do anything and fizzles. What's on Gatherer? If Leyline Binding leaves the battlefield before it enters the battlefield, ability resolves, the target permanent won't be exiled, which is relevant for things like tokens, which is nice. Especially with depths. If Leyline Binding is the answer and you have something like Seiju, then know that it is worth destroying the Leyline Binding with the trigger on the stack. Alright, Eureka. A no-lander with once, a pretty heavy hand as well in terms of CMC, so pretty happy to mulligan this. Okay, happy to keep this, put back the Dryad Arbor. We have multiple ways of early mana acceleration. We have protection and Mum, and hopefully a threat through Green Suns. Already have 2 lands as well. Put back Dryad Arbor. Oh, okay. This is cool. Copy LED. Oh, Echo. Okay. So here, if there is interaction, we can potentially find a endurance off this, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think here we just want to go for deafening silence. Oh, sorry, Collector Ouphe as early as possible if we get through the next few turns. I guess as a just in case, we want to try to get a Manadork here for turn 2 Ouphe. Nice. If we have a chance. Much worse. Grid I don't care about, which is nice. Spellbomb isn't that bad either. They're playing out their hand, probably just for another storm. Paradoxical outcome, potentially? No. Another hardcast Echo? Okay. We don't mind that. Green Suns? No. Okay. We still have Green Suns off the top, which would be nice. Probably just going to sword. If we do get a turn, it's probably Swords and play Fiend Artisan, which also gives us a Collector Ouphe the following turn. Okay. Are we playing Deafening Silence? No. We do have Thoughtseize, which is really nice. We do have Force of Vigor and Gadok Teague. That's probably it. Plague isn't worth it. Opposition Agent, not really worth it. Hushbringer, not worth it. In it. Okay. Do I need to get rid of both of these creatures? That's the question. So we have access to Double Sword and Wasteland this turn. We have access to Fiend Artisan and Swords. I feel like I really need to get Fiend Artisan online. And therefore I want to play a fetch land. And probably Swords. 1, 2, 3 mana currently. I could take them off the tomb. They do have an Echo. Two, 3, 4, 5 mana. Flashback's only 3. Okay. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you may play that this turn. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. I think in that case, I want to play the Fiend Artisan and take out the Riddlesmith, as it's pretty much the enabler of Containment Construct. So I think it's Fiend Artisan and Swords. And in that case, I'm happy just to get another Savannah. Let me see what happens. So we can Wasteland them next turn and also Fiend, which is cool. Okay. Oh, just passing? Wow, I did not expect that. just get rid of this. Okay. Well, we got to turn 3. Wow. Really interesting match. I mean, opponent just really didn't do a whole lot there. They got to grape shot us, but yeah, Ouphe just really nice. I think that's a really good showing of just how important it is to have a creature like Collector Ouphe or potentially Gadok in the main deck as kind of an I win button against combo like this. So we like the Teague, we like the Force of Vigors, we like the Outland Liberator, we like the Thoughtseizers. I don't mind the Questing Beast as they do have Khan. The Palace Jailer and the Endurance can probably go. The Quick Reflexes can most likely go. The Mums can probably go as well. They might have Dismember. They might have Dress Down. I'm pretty happy just to cut these. Scryb Ranger could also be a cut. The Bowmasters, the Ouphe are quite strong. The Swords, I think, is just 1 mana interaction is quite good. Renegade getting back Collector Ouphe is really nice. There is a world where Surgical with Thoughtseize isn't too bad. I don't mind like maybe one Surgical. If we could take out Echo and then Surgical Echo, I think that really takes away from their ability to just replace their hand quite quickly. I'm pretty happy to see how this goes. A little bit too fair. Even in the blind, I think this hand is a little bit tough because it doesn't really do anything on the early turns. We want to have like a Thoughtseize hand. This is, this has a turn 2 Teague. I mean, what are we mulliganing to? Force of Vigor, potentially, but then we're down to nearly 3 cards. I think this is a pretty great keep. And I think here we're going to bottom the Grist. It could be the Knight. Grist at least potentially deals with either an early Khan or an early creature, potentially. The Knight we also have multiples of and we could draw into. I don't mind that. I think I just want to find a Wasteland here off the once. We don't. That's fine. Do we want an extra land or just go for the Fiend? I kind of like the Fiend as it is a pseudo Collector Ouphe. Okay, I'm happy to shuffle at end step. I would love for them to play out a Riddlesmith, because then it is a Bowmaster hit on our turn. Okay. they exiled another one of these. Whew. Okay. We do want to shuffle in case we draw into Teague. We're going to get another white source here. So now we can swords and noble in the same turn. Okay, that's quite nice. I guess we could also Bowmaster here. Maybe Bowmaster here is just better. The only thing about Bowmaster here is that then we can't go Noble Hierarch this turn, Green Suns next turn for 3 without drawing into a land, or for 2, sorry. But Bowmaster turning off a lot of draw effects is quite nice. I think it might just be Bowmaster here. If we have a Bowmaster online, yeah. There goes an Echo. They exiled a Gamble. Okay. I'm happy for this to go through. I wonder if they gamble for Dismember or something similar. Hey Mark, too kind. Apologies for streaming when you were streaming, but I hope you did well. Hope you're pretty pumped for Eternal Weekend coming up. We have to align as well for our deck tech, hopefully. We actually have 2 coming up, one for Eternal Doddles as well, but yeah, would obviously love to have your thoughts pre-Eternal Weekend NA. But how'd you go? What did you play against? I assume you're on your Punishing Saga Mav. Oh, they hit Breakthrough. Okay. Roaming Throne. Interesting. That's pretty cool. At least Roaming Throne doesn't do anything if we remove this creature. You played Candy Trail? Very cool. So it's a Saga target. When it enters battlefield, scry 2, tap, you gain 3, draw a card. Nice. That's sweet. Yeah, so this creature relies on other creatures they control. So I think here we just want to go swords on this, play the noble, and then potentially Green Suns for Ouphe next turn. Candy Trail's very sweet. I wouldn't mind trying out Brainstone. It might just be a little bit too like mana intensive, but I do like the thought of a Brainstorm-esque card in a deck where you have silver bullets that might not be relevant against some decks, or you know, brainstoning away even some lands if you have like all your fetches. 3 mana. Kozilek's Return would be pretty cool if they played that in the board. Grape Shot, okay. That's nice. That's one less Grape Shot for us to really care about. Oh, there's an Echo though. Okay, not too bad. We have Thoughtseize into Green Suns if we live this turn. Free Scry is really nice. Yeah, definitely. Even playing a little bit of Red-White Initiative, I definitely understand the ability of Scry and how popular and how good it is. Especially in a deck like that where you just want to keep drawing gas. I mean, Scry 2, not giving you dead draws for 2 turns is huge. Even knowing what's coming and how to like play the board. Okay, Saga's fine. Two mana. This deck seems like it can definitely go off, but it doesn't seem too consistent at actually completing the game. Okay. Probably go after our creatures and also me. No. Huh. Okay, there we go. They have two cards. I think here we might actually have to get in a position where we can... I think we have to Wasteland the Saga this turn. Green Suns for a mana accelerant. We don't have the luxury of Thoughtseize. That puts us to 7, and then they pretty much have lethal. Does turn off the fetch lands. I probably don't mind just going for Dryad Arbor, as it means I can't attack with the Riddle. Maybe that's the line. And then Dryad Arbor still allows us to develop our mana if needed. I guess in that case I probably could have Thoughtseized there. A tough one. Now they have an LED, which they can then gamble for Echo. Another Saga. Yeah, just like mid-range beatdown now. Maybe I'm over considering... Yeah, maybe I should bring in a Plague Engineer, just as like a nice... I guess it does get hit again by... 3 more. By Grape Shot. So maybe it's not the greatest. Damn. Yeah, I don't mind this over a night. The Grist, I think, is okay. Maybe Surgical is or isn't where I want to be. It's just nice to be able to control things that I Thoughtseize. Maybe just the one night. I don't mind that. Love to play first. Would love to keep this hand. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Bowmaster potentially. Surgical and LED, yeah, that's a good one. Alright, let's go for Bayou into Thoughtseize. Okay, so I don't care about the Chrome Mox. I don't care about the Lotus Petal or the Mox Opal. I don't think. I kind of want them to play the Riddlesmith. Potentially here it's just take the gamble and then make them play the Riddlesmith out, and then we get to Bowmaster the Riddlesmith. I think we just take the gamble. I think, especially because gamble leads to them just being able to potentially get a LED. And the three artifacts are very similar in that they're all turned off by Collector Ouphe, hopefully. Riddle. Mox. Okay. Oh, they found LED, okay. One card left, okay. We're just going to go for a Savannah here. And we're going to just try to get this Riddlesmith off the board. And then next turn, hopefully, we just Green Suns for Collector Ouphe. But it's not always that easy. Oof. At least if they echo here, the Bowmaster does do some damage. Oh, we also find a Force of Vigor. That is very nice. I feel like there's a same targets button here somewhere. Yeah. So I could hit the Chromox here before they get to tap it for mana. Is that something I'm interested in? Honestly, I think it could be. Take out the Bauble. I don't want to hit the Moxen because kind of makes them sack the Bauble, which is nice, turning off Metalcraft to some extent. I think in this spot I'm pretty happy to hit the Chromox, because what else am I trying to hit? Potentially a Saga, but we do have Once Upon a Time next turn for potentially just Wasteland. We also have an 8/8. So I do like hitting these two right now. Pitching the Noble. Nice. And that's, yeah, I think keeping them off the mana there is pretty crucial. Forcing them to use the Bauble, potentially forcing, also puts them down to 8, which is lethal through the Orc, which is really nice. But a timely force there, which is always pretty welcoming. Yeah, Orc very strong there. What do we played against? Merfolk? 5-color. Yorion. And Riddle. Hey Mike, always cool to see you. Yeah, the game one was stressful. Especially when a combat deck goes off multiple times with Echo, but doesn't actually get there. When they cast that first Grape Shot for 11, I was pretty happy. Because I assume they're not like a Past in Flames deck. They could probably put Grape Shot back into the deck and then search for it potentially with a gamble or just draw into it, but yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. I only cast Reflexes once so far, but it was pretty enjoyable. All right. Look, we have a Dryad Arbor hand, but we have a double Fiend hand, so Mum with the Scryb Ranger, I'm pretty happy to keep this. XJ, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're looking forward to Eternal Weekend. I assume you're playing. I'm going to assume as well you're on a red X deck. Chose to not shuffle. I'm pretty happy just to run into a Wasteland here. I don't really want to get a Plains, especially with Fiend Artisan. That can be a little bit horrific. But at least Watery Grave Ponder typically meets like a mid-range-ish matchup, which I'm happy to see here. You have fallen far from the D&T Grays. Brainstorm here is also quite nice because it means no Orcish Bowmaster this turn. Let's see. Okay. Not too unhappy to see this. Doomsday? Interesting. Ponder Brainstorm Thoughtseize. Watery Grave is what makes me think, well, that's quite nice. That this isn't. At this stage, I'm happy just to play the Fiend Artisan. In case it isn't Doomsday, what do I want to get? Probably just a Bayou, play Artisan. This makes this Dryad Arbor a little bit better as well. Days, okay. Scryb Ranger with Renegade Rallier also really nice, as it does turn on Revolt. This could be a Murktide. Not too unhappy about Murktide, as we do have a pro blue flyer. Shadow, okay. Just a 1/1. Okay. Here, I'm happy just to go Scryb. And then play Noble. I could have also returned and untapped to keep this from being wastelanded, but I think I'm okay with where we are. Okay. No great attacks for them either, which is nice. Ooh, ho 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 ho. Okay, okay. So what do we want to do here? We want to go white. Guess we could attack first with the Scryb. That does get the shadow bigger though. What if we attack with the Mum? And then untap with split second and then tap and... Let's start with Renegade Rallier. Untap this, return this. Play this. Yeah, this allows me to play around days while also holding up quick reflexes. Get back Fiend. Okay. Pretty happy just to pass here. And then go in upkeep. Pro black. Quick reflex. Oh, haha, so good. Pro black just gets a fatal push. Nice. Mum taking out a Death Shadow was very cool. Oh my gosh, okay. That's fair. That's fair to be, yeah. Okay, we are looking at Death Shadow. I don't mind Plague as just a Death Touch creature that also interacts with Orcish Bowmaster, potentially. I do like the carpets. I don't want the Collector Ouphe. Potentially not the Plague Engineer. I don't really want the Beast. Yeah, maybe not the... Maybe just... I guess I could go down on a mana dork, but I really like just mana. Like, if I have mana, I have mana. It might just be this. Maybe the Plague I don't really worry about. His hand is pretty strong. No early removal, but I'm okay with that. Grief. Okay. Do I want a once here? Probably not. If they want to take the once, they can take the once. Take the carpet. Okay. Reanimate is fine. I could try to once here for endurance, but I don't think I'm really at a position where I'm inclined to do so. It's pretty much an unflipped Delver. Or a flipped Delver, I should say, that doesn't have flying. Okay. I'm happy just to... If I find a Wasteland, I wouldn't be too unhappy about Wasteland. Yeah. The Noble's also interesting. They're down to 3 cards. Maybe I actually just want to try to get my board going and take the Hierarch here. Also makes the Green Suns a little bit better, in that next time we could just Green Suns for Fiend Artisan. I think Noble here is a bit more play to win. Okay, if they ponder shuffle and miss a land drop, that's a little bit tough, but I do like building up my board here. Chose to not shuffle. Oh, okay. Well, they chose to not shuffle their library, but they didn't play a land, which makes me think that this turn they have days. I think in that case, I'm just playing the Dryad Arbor this turn. And attacking for 1. And the next turn, potentially, we get to play around days the whole time. Very weird to ponder, but not play a land. And also not shuffle. Wow. They can't fatal push here, which is great. Very interesting ponder. Now they're out of the ponder. Still on 1 land, wow. Well, now we get to go ham, which is really nice. I kind of like Green Suns for Grist here. I don't want to turn on Underground Sea. Sorry, I don't want to turn on Fatal Push, but if we get rid of the Grist, then it just does that anyway. Yeah, they have been on 1 land for 4 turns, so keep them off like a Bowmaster or something. I think we'll see what's up with this Green Suns. I guess, like, is there a reason to take them off the mana first? Potentially. It could just be the Dryad Arbor. Just because it is open to removal. That Wasteland. They float blue. Troll. That's fine. So they were always holding it up. Interesting that they didn't even cycle the Troll. Thanks, Ben. I think in that case, I'm more inclined to Endurance over... So they got a Watery Grave. Yeah, I'm not sure why they missed their land drop. Why they didn't cycle the Troll. Trying to just go for an end step. I guess we could nearly put them off Reanimate. Green Suns. I kind of want to just Endurance here. Was a bit stressed down. Okay. But now there's definitely a world where if they do reanimate, then Grist take out the blocker. Shadow. Okay. Hmm. One, two, three creatures in the bin, so Fiend Artisan would be a 4/4. We do still have Renegade Rallier in the deck as well. Okay. So does that allow us to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana currently. If we get Cradle, we have access to 7 mana. If we go Renegade Rallier here, we also have a decent blocker. Is there a world where we could get through for lethal with a Wasteland? With Scryb Ranger, untap the Knight? If we tap Bayou for 1, get Cradle. One, two, three. I'm pretty happy to just do it on the fly. But I think this might work. If we get a... no, because we need to untap it. If we get a Wasteland here. Three mana. No, it's one short. I believe. Oh, maybe not because of the... Did play a land. Force negation. Their last card's Daze. We get done here, but I'm happy to run into Daze. Scryb. Untap Knight, return Savannah. They now have... Oh, they don't have to block. Okay, now we're just passing. They have 2 cards left. Brainstorm's fine. Find a fetch, they have 1 card left. Dotsy's me. They know the card. We returned it to our hand. They can't double attack because we get to untap the Noble. If they attack with both, we put... No, they're just going to attack with the Death Shadow? That makes no sense. They have 0 cards. That's something in their graveyard? No, they have like Cling to Dust or something? No. Yeah. I don't know what was happening there, but we got there. Alright. Well, maybe we can finish this on a high. Very interesting attack there. Maybe they didn't think we could sack a land to the night, or... Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if anyone who rewatches this, especially on YouTube, if you can find a line when we had those 2 Green Suns. A little bit tough knowing about our opponent now having the Force of Negation, but I feel like we were very close to untap the Knight and then Green Suns for Grist, remove the Scryb Ranger, keep the Exalted, and potentially get in for lethal, but it's tough to use the Knight to get Wasteland and something else. We're on the play, which is nice. Look at that. Not too sure what this hand is going to be. If the first once is just another land, it's a pretty awful hand. I'm happy to mulligan this. Okay, happy to keep this bottom 1 sword. We don't have a white source, but I think that's okay with what we currently have. I'm happy just to pass here. They fetch. In response to the fetch here, I think I will cast the Bowmaster. That's pretty interesting. Maybe not, because we do have mana to play around days here. Volk. Okay. Badlands. Okay. Force pitching Dak. Wow, okay. Huh. Well. I'm probably happy to take them off blue here, but I also kind of like them having blue with... I actually think I just want to take them off the ability to Bowmaster us. I think I'm happy for them to obviously cantrip. Like, both lands up Lightning Bolt, so... Wow, okay, so 4 color, no white yet. Loam, okay. I do like getting Fiend down this turn. This has to be some variant of Syfro deck? Yeah, I would assume so as well. Potentially no white. So with the Loam, they got back Badlands, Polluted Delta. Trophy, okay. I'll get the Plains. Yeah, I think Plains is quite strong here. Just if they are probably a Murktide deck. Again, happy to get Fiend Artisan here. And then I won't... do I want to attack? Probably not. Because I think the Orc token is probably just better for me with the Fiend Artisan in play. That's all good, Ben. A huge thank you. If I can get a land off the top and turn this Orc token into a Grist, would be very happy. There's the Delta we know about. This could be a Drown in the lock. No. Bowmaster. Okay. Whale of the Forgotten. Choose one. If there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard as you cast a spell, choose one or more. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Okay. That's cool. What's the other side? Target opponent discards a card. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Cool. Honestly, here I really like the thought of just making land drops. So let's go once into hopefully 4. Can get a Wasteland. We can't cast the Fiend off it. I think it's still good enough just to get the Wasteland as a land drop. And then probably get a Ignobled, seeing we have all the white in the world. Could definitely have sat on the Green Suns. But I don't mind building up my mana. This means if we draw into a 3-drop, we could cast Fiend Artisan and also something like Knight or Grist. Loam. There's an Uro in the bin now. To green. Bean? No. Bowmaster. Okay. Now we just hold up sword for Uro. Hey Echo, welcome. Hope you're doing well. I would say with Syfro, like getting to know the deck, the mana would be tough to play around with. It's their last card, trophy. Okay. I might be inclined to Swords Bow here just to draw a card off the Peatland. Because we are at 3. Yeah. I could plow the army, but I think the extra draw here off the Peatland could get us in a position where we're okay. Okay. Green Sun Sensor Grist. Could have plowed before damage, yeah. That's just streamer brain. Green Suns for Grist doesn't get too out of hand. The Loam's in the bin. We can't take them off Uro just yet. Oh, we could also take them off. We could get Renegade Rallier, get back Wasteland, take them off green, and then they only have 1 green and 1. I think I will double spell, but I think I will do it through Renegade Rallier. Take them off. I guess if we Wasteland them though, they just get back to Loam. I guess we could also just go for Endurance, right? Endurance isn't too bad here. Yeah. Do I want to take them off a land before I Endurance them? Probably not. I think right now I'd rather just hold the Wasteland in case we draw into a land and we can double spell. Oh, I guess we can't double spell if we draw into a land. Endurance. Endurance them. Yeah, I think Wasteland tapping for mana is better for us here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Seal, remove the Endurance and get there. Okay. This is a tough one to... I like the carpets. I like the Endurance. Hushspring is interesting, but I don't mind the opposition agent. Ouphe can come out. The Beast can probably come out. They have a lot of answers for it. The Reflexes are interesting, but are they good enough? I like the mums on the play. I don't mind Plague Engineer. It's just a way to deal with their Bowmasters in an effective way. Like Surgical and Uro is interesting, but I feel like they have other ways to get there. Scryb's a little bit awkward in this matchup, I think. I think it's actually the quick Reflexes. I feel like they're a deck that has a pretty good grasp of just keeping us off creatures, that it can just be a bit of a late top deck that isn't that great. Palace Jailer. But yeah, it all comes down to like even little things like not swordsing before damage there would put me on 4, which gives me another turn to be able to replay the Endurance. So definitely just little Little things that add up. I think it might just be the Scryb. Scryb's cool, but I think this is fine. Pretty happy to keep this. Interesting. Turn 1, main phase 1, Brainstorm. I'm actually happy just to Wasteland here and try to draw into a once and save some time. We're definitely not in a rush. Forest, okay. Nice. Probably more inclined here to play the Bayou. And then just play the Noble, holding up sword. I kind of want them to play a Bowmaster and then we can Bowmaster their Bowmaster. It didn't need to fetch there, but that's okay. Okay. Sure. Pretty happy to clear the board, especially in case of like a like Plowshares off the top. Pretty happy just to play that. The seals make me think they're playing Questing Druid. Maybe not, but I have seen seal pop up in decks playing it, so that you have more things to do. Honestly, here, I think I'm happy just playing the Endurance out. They can have the Loam. Potentially they want the lands to actually make a land drop. Nice. That's pretty key. Ah, interesting. Okay, that's cool. Play the Peatland. Play the Knight. I think just in response to this, I'm going to fetch and draw, so they can't Bowmaster me in response to drawing off the Peatland. It's pretty good. Forest is probably the worst draw, knowing they have more Assassin's trophies. I probably don't mind Grist at this stage. Yeah, threat diversity is pretty nice here. Noble going into the bin as well is a small win. Not really a card we want here. I was going to keep the Arbor just in case I get to play it and then remove a creature at the same time. I didn't want to play the Arbor into like a Toxic Deluge. Minsk. Okay, well that's fortunate for us. They make the token and then they pick up the swords. Nice. I could throw the Dryad Arbor here, but I don't mind just attacking the Minsk and then ticking up the Grist. I could attack them as well. I'm just trying to like close this game out before it gets too long, because this deck definitely wins in the long game. Grist going down to 2 is a little bit rough against a deck with like Seal of Fires. But maybe I'll just use what I have on board. Potentially even get there with the Grist ulti. How many creatures do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, it says on Grist? It does, yes. Yeah, of course. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into the graveyard. Deed and Snuff Out. Okay. They probably kept Uro. Fetching at 3 mana makes me think they have an Uro. Trophy on Grist. That's pretty good as well. Really hope to see a Brainstorm or something similar. Loam, sure. They got a 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So close. They seal a creature as well, probably the Endurance, so this isn't the be all end all. I guess if they seal the Endurance though, then we get to get rid of the Uro, which is nice. Did we not ping twice? They chose to loam the draw. That's cool. That's really cool. I think we need to play a creature here because they play the Uro, go to 5, block the biggest creature, take 1, 2, 3, 4. They do take 1 from drawing a card as well, but I think I'm happy to play into like a sweeper effect. I'll name like Orc as well, because that's potentially 2 blockers. Okay. Damn. They are playing Minsk. Does that change anything? Not really. Like, maybe Beast there would have been nice. They're playing Deeds, which makes me kind of want to get rid of the Mother of Runes, but maybe not. Potentially like a Noble Hierarch out because of the carpets alongside Mana Acceleration. The issue is, like, other than Uro, Swords to Plowshares isn't that great. Even Uro isn't that great because it's usually a 2-for-1. Swords dealing with Uro is nice, but I don't really want a Swords like a Bowmaster. I'd rather Bowmaster a Bowmaster. We haven't really seen any other creatures other than Minsk and Boo. Don't really want to Swords that either. This is definitely interesting, especially as protection. Beast attacks through Orcs, yeah. Like, I was thinking of, like, beasting the Reflexes over the Mums. But Mums are quite nice once they get online. Like, it's a lot harder on the draw, but, like, Mum into Bowmaster is very nice. Feels weird cutting the Mums. Could also consider Thoughtseize, yeah. That's pretty interesting. Like, maybe keeping a Mana Dork, but cutting like this, and keeping one of each. That's kind of cool. The nice thing about like the Syfro pile or this sort of deck is that they don't typically run out of cards. So Thoughtseize even off the top in the mid game is going to be pretty live. Like, I don't think Surgical is worth it. Like, it is a semi-clean answer to, say, Uro or Loam. But they're not really, we don't really care too much about those cards. I'm going to try this out. We'll see how we go. I think Veil would be really nice in this matchup. This is a 1-lander, which I'm just not happy to keep. Obviously, double Bowmasters is pretty nice, but I think I'd really want at least land and Once Upon a Time or 2 lands for this hand. Missing a land drop here is just pretty brutal. Okay. I'm probably happy to keep this and bottom the Cradle, as opponent's probably in a position to get rid of our creatures pretty well. Island Seal. Okay. We haven't seen Wasteland from them yet either. Okay. I think here we just go for Savannah, as it turns on swords. Opponent really nice, saying they're nice to see some Maverick. They are also 3-0. see a Bayou here. Yeah. Damn, opponent loves the seals and loves the Bowmasters. Honestly, pretty happy to go for Bayou. Seal on... I don't mind just getting Dryad Arbor into play. If they want to use the seal on the Dryad Arbor, we still get a Fiend next turn no matter what. Okay. If they want to use the seal here, I'm more than happy to do that. Ah, return the Orc. That's kind of cool. Okay. Can they Orc me? Or can they make me? Yeah. Tough. And then like a 7/7 as well. Don't think we're getting away from that. But deck was sweet. I think Syfro is definitely very well built to be kind of like the fair creature decks, but we did get a game, which is nice. Syfro. See what's in these chests. We'll keep the chest. We'll keep the chest for another time. Deck was sweet. There wasn't really anything that I really missed from like the versions that I play. Sometimes Ramanap is nice. Potentially tonight it would have been okay, but I think Rallier did a really nice job at just getting some tempo going. The matchups tonight were pretty all around. Merfolk, pretty subpar build. Like I think that player was obviously trying to like see where Merfolk was going, so I think it was a pretty easy win there. 5-color Yorion, timed out. Riddlesmith, didn't combo off. Shadow, I think is just a pretty fine matchup for Maverick, like anywhere between like the 55 to 60% I usually find. And then yeah, Syfro is just going to be a little bit too hard. Yeah, a little bit of a backbreaker. But all in all, the deck was sweet. It's really nice to be playing with Fiend Artisan. Obviously, Orcish Bowmasters is really tough. Didn't see too much of quick reflexes, but we did deal with a few creatures, which is nice. Both with Mum, I think. Yeah, Mum took out a DRC and also, sorry, a Death Right, sorry, a Death Shadow, and also took out a Lord of Atlantis. Yeah, which is pretty cool. Yeah, not too bad. That's gonna be me. A huge thank you to you guys for coming and watching. I'll be back tonight. I'm doing a deck tech / discussion with Michael Mapson about Naya for Eternal Weekend. And then hopefully we'll have Mark on the channel for Punishing at some point. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, a big thank you to you all for coming and watching. If you want to find me on YouTube, you can find me here. I'm only 2 subs away from 3K on there, which is really nice. You can also find me on Twitter and Discord. And of course at thegreensonzenith.com, which is currently going through a bit of a makeover, which is nice. Just really updating some of the primers, getting some player deck photos, which is really cool to add to the primer pages. So if you have a Maverick 75 in paper and want to get it featured on the Green Sun Zenith, you can send it through to doogsonTwitch@gmail.com. Pretty easy. And yeah, I'll upload it with hopefully a Moxfield link if you have one of those. But yeah, I think the mana base tonight was fine as well. I was a little bit weary of having 1 Bayou, 1 Scrubland, but it worked out really well. The fetches are great as well at making knights bigger. More ways to turn on Rallier, more ways to find Dryad Arbor potentially for Fiend Artisan. Obviously more ways to find basics as well if needed. Just, yeah, pretty sweet list. So hopefully Harry does well with it at Eternal Weekend. A big thank you to you on YouTube watching as well. And I'm going to stop the recording here. So I'll see you in the next one.